Public Q&A presents AskReddit question. How long did it take for you to realize that people older than you are just as clueless as you are? This wasn't the major epiphany for me. What was the major epiphany for me was just how situational intelligence can be. Like, how can this brilliant mechanical engineer believe such stupid bullshit about politics? Or why did some of the smartest people I have ever met struggle to find a decent fucking job for so long? Or even, how the fuck can this man be such a driven and talented attorney, and manage to bump into so much shit while driving? People can be insanely good in some areas, and absolute dumbass in others. That does shatter our naivety, since we assume adults in high-prestige fields must have most of the answers. From what I hear, that's the cost of specialization. Getting amazing at one subject, sacrificing many others. Jack of trades, master of none. But better than master of one. It's a nice saying but doesn't really hold up. I would prefer my surgeon to be a master surgeon over being a pretty good surgeon and a pretty good accountant. Totally agree, I think these quotes are a better fit. Everybody is ignorant. Only on different subjects. Will Rogers. And everyone is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Possibly Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein's quote is really amazing. It fits so good to today's school system, and so much more in life. I find it ironic it's plastered over the drama corridor in my school, but no one looks at drama, or the arts very seriously. What is the famous story about Martha Graham? Your daughter isn't retarded, she's a dancer. How else you gon' make those human skin cowboy hats? Rimworld surgeon at work right there. He even makes good money off them as a side business, since he's a pretty good accountant. But still gets hit with pretty hefty tax penalties, cause he's not a great accountant. Well, the full saying goes, Jack of all trades, master of none, is oftentimes better than a master of one. So there's definitely exceptions. How about Jack of all trades and a master of one? You just solved everything. Well, the full saying goes, that's on lists of full sayings that are just modern stuff tacked onto the original phrase years, decades, even centuries after they were originally coined. E.g., curiosity killed the cat. Earliest known variant was by Ben Jonson, who wrote it in 1598. Earliest modern version pops up 300 years later. The annoying corrective second half of curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction bought it back appeared sometime in the 1900s in the form of a poem basically parodying the phrase. Imagine if, like 200 years from now, people say things like, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, but Dan Carlin's history podcast is poorly researched theater of the mind. Knowing literally the first thing about pyramids would be nice though. There are exceptions to every rule. Yours is one. I mean, yeah, but then Ben Carson gets to exist and stuff. You'd think so, but not anymore. Our society has become so insanely specialized nowadays that it's expected for you to become a master of one. A human being should be able to change a diaper, plan an invasion, butcher a hog, con a ship, design a building, write a sonnet, balance accounts, build a wall, set a bone, comfort the dying, take orders, give orders, cooperate, act alone, solve equations, analyze a new problem, pitch manure, program a computer, cook a tasty meal, fight efficiently, die gallantly. Specialization is for insects. Robert Heinlein. Shoot a nuke down a bug hole, you got a lot of dead bugs. I like the saying. It fits me very well. I am good at almost anything I put my hand or mind to, but no expert. I do agree society wants you to do one thing, and only one thing, which sucks. Cause the moment society collapses, those highly specialized people are fucked. And is the collapse of society in the room with us now? I mean of all the times to happen. Hey, that's a cool perspective to see it from. Jack of alls unite. I have always kind of felt a bit of disappointment with myself. I have never mastered anything though. I have close family members who I am very competitive with who are also capable, but have managed to master a hobby or career. Makes me want to be as driven as they are. I did mention in another comment further down that there will always be someone better, no matter who or what it is. So you might as well enjoy what you can do and get better at it if you're able. Oftentimes better than a master of one. I find that an important distinction to make. There are indeed times when a more rounded and varied knowledge base is preferable or beneficial, but if there was never a need or benefit to having specializations, then we'd never have created any specializations in the first place. A combat medic may have a plethora of various low and mid-level medical knowledge, but if you're in need of a quadruple bypass, you're absolutely going to go for the heart surgeon that may not be good at field dressing a wound or setting broken bones with a splint made from a random piece of wood and some shoestrings instead. Indeed. I mentioned in other comments there are exceptions to this. Just in general it's good. Yeah, absolutely. I would say that even if you had a specialized work or knowledge base, it'd behoove you that you gain at least a base level knowledge in a wide array of things. It can only help. I am a jack of all trades and pretty insecure about that because I don't stand out at anything. I used to be too. I am a mechanical engineer that ended up in project management. I don't specialize in anything, but I have had the chance to pick the brains of a lot of consultants and contractors with years of experience and have learned a ton of stuff. Better than getting pigeonholed into designing one single widget my whole career. I have gone out to my job sites and just watched and talked to guys digging a trench just to understand how they do it without punching a hole through an in-ground asset. Or talk to plant operators to understand the real issues they deal with. At the end of the day, I am okay not being an expert because it makes me a more useful engineer. I have a lot of respect for contractors and operators that give a shit about their job. A wealth of information. Maybe not. But you can't compare yourself to other people in that sense. It's about how you feel about it. There's always someone better in everything, no matter what. Might as well just enjoy it at whatever level you're at, and get better if you can. Give me someone who knows how to think about problems and come up with solutions. And who gives a damn about doing a moderately good job. They will almost always end up better at whatever job you give them than at least 75% of the people doing that job. Will they be as good as someone with that set of traits and a decade of experience with that thing? Probably not. But they will probably be as good at that job after a year as someone without those traits, but with a decade of experience with that exact thing. And they'll be able to handle changes and weird shit way better. That is not really true anymore. The people with high-paying salaries are master of one. The people with super high-paying salaries are master of two, since they can apply one to the other. The jack of all trades makes a lower salary than the master of one. Especially since they don't have a new perspective or can't invent anything in most of the fields they are average at. I always read being a T person is the way to go. The horizontal part of the letter represents a breadth of skills, while the vertical part represents depth. So in my career, my strong suit would be in technology X, but I know a bit of A, B, C as well. From what I hear, that's the cost of specialization. Getting amazing at one subject, sacrificing many others. I'll just tell myself that's why I am no good at anything. Because I am marginal at so many others. Wow, this reminds me so much of a friend of mine. He is probably the smartest guy I know. Excellent engineer, working in computational fluid dynamics field. He is working on his doctorate, and I would bet he will be professor in 5 years. But once he took small shoes to hiking, and he got blood poisoning from blisters. Then one hike later, he took exactly same boots again, and he got painful blisters again. You'll never understand people who don't learn from their mistakes. It turns out the points that you sank into intelligence rearranged themselves randomly into subcategories we had no idea existed. Charisma, too. Reminds me of getting into a conversation with one of my co-workers, who was highly educated and a really good software developer. During the conversation, it comes out that he's a young Earth creationist, and he tried to explain all the proof out there that the Earth was only 6,000 years old. When I asked about his sources, the only one he would give me was a Christian magazine. It seems silly to say it, but that conversation really shook me up and I couldn't sleep that night. It took me a while to get used to the fact that someone can be smart in one area and completely miss the mark in another area. Reminds me of the illustrated guide to a PhD. We all are kids inside. We just act like adults, and the ones with awareness try to button up their beliefs so they don't sound cuckoo. Fuck it, we are all people trying to figure out this thing called life. Life is short, believe whatever the fuck you want, because in 100 years your existence won't be remembered unless you invented some world-changing shit. Smart people are only smart when they choose to think critically, and it is impossible to think critically all the time. Being smart equals being correct all the time either. Look at conspiracy theorists, the dumb ones are easy to corner and contradict themselves. The smart ones are able to create a maze of insane rationalization from minor discrepancies that only an extremely well-versed subject expert could cut off and point out as bullshit. If a smart person wants to believe something wrong, you better come prepared with thousands of resources to cut off any rationalization they can think of, cause you're fighting an uphill battle. OMG, you just reminded me. My best mate at school was super intelligent, sitting 7 levels. All expected a grade. He used to cycle everywhere, and for some reason he learned that if a bike gets to a roundabout, all cars should stop. Not give way. Just stop. The amount of times he would arrive somewhere having nearly been killed 54 times was ridiculous, but he would not listen to others because as far as he was concerned, cars stop for bikes on roads. Anyway, he made millions and was an arsehole to everyone that supported him growing up. Last I heard, he has moved to Peru because the banking system is easier. Ben Carson, one of the top-tier brain surgeons in America, believes that pyramids were grain silos and that prison makes people homosexual. I second the situational thing. I also think you would be mistaken to assume that you have the 100% full complete picture. You might think they are clueless because they are not letting you in on other details in their life. Now, I am not saying that you should respect all elders. I think filial piety is a load of bullshit. But the converse is also true, which is that you shouldn't turn that completely on its head and dismiss older people as clueless. So true. I know we are all more alike than we are different, but I am amazed at how differently we each process information and stimuli. Very intelligent people are often some of the most incapable at seemingly simple tasks. It's like the absent-minded professor. You can take a very intelligent person and drop them into an IKEA, and they forget how to follow arrows. I have recently started to think of life like an RPG. You only get so many experience points to put into your skills. Life isn't one of those games where you can do it all, you've got to specialize. You want that level 10 speechcraft? Well, you're going to have to take points away from the driving skill. Some people can specialize more widely and are good at a variety of things, while some choose to focus on a few skills and hone their specialization. I noticed a lot of that when I got to college. How can this brilliant math professor write so terribly? How can that straight-A biology major believe in astrology? I know two brilliant doctors who believe the earth is flat. They can tell you exactly what is wrong with you, but they also believe the ice wall theory. As someone who has a great resume or cover letter, I am really struggling to get a job. What got them out of that situation? Nepotism. Don't underestimate nepotism. Almost every job I have ever gotten was because I have known somebody, or somebody there could at least vouch for me. Maybe it's not as great as you think. I got the holy shit, no one else knows what the fuck they are doing either, when I started working in a popular local bar as head bartender at a place which illegally, but absolutely the best job I have ever had, stayed open for after hours for regulars only, and it was a big secret. Illegal to sell booze after 3 a.m. here, where I am from, and we stayed open until 6 a.m. serving the regulars on weekends. My Friday night crowd included a surgeon, a janitor, a famous actor who films here frequently, 3 or 4 waitresses, local musicians, a literal homeless man who looks and smells the part. All age ranges from 19 to 78. And varied races. But this group of people got along better than anyone I have got along with in my life. It let me realize that no matter what your job title is, we really are all the same, and we really are just winging it out here. It gave me a different outlook on life, and 7 years later I am still close friends with them all. I visit them at least once a month for a catch-up session. This sounds like a good set of characters for a TV show. They could call it something like Cheers, maybe. PM me. I have some ideas in mind, including a piano ballad as the theme song. May I join? I have some ideas of a spin-off for one of the characters. He better have an interesting profession, a dependent father, a foolish brother, and a radio show. I am getting more of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia vibe here. They just need to get a pastor. Reminds me of the TV show Horace and Pete by Louis C.K. One epiphany is that nobody knows what is going on. The next epiphanies are that older people have been coping with it for longer, and have even more experience making things work without knowing what was going on. When you reach the point that you too can immediately get to work, dig in, and do something rather than wait for somebody else to explain it to you, that's when you move up to senior level work. Junior workers need everything explained. Mid-level can get going with some explanations. Senior workers have seen enough that they can deal with the unknown every day. Some of it is also about being able to take risks without knowing whether they will achieve the desired outcome. An issue can be that if you aren't given the authority to take those decisions, you're kind of stuck. I might have ideas for how to solve a problem, but if I am at a junior level, then I may not receive any support from higher management for running with the ball. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Late 30s. I am now 43, but I am my late 30s. It dawned on me that almost everyone my age and older was just trying to figure this shit out just like me. That was the boost I needed to try and be kinder to people, because they are possibly just as overwhelmed and scared about shit as I am. Wow, I had the complete opposite conclusion. I realized in my early 20s, working with people way more educated than myself. Now I am actually super salty about the level of incompetence in the adult world. I could have spent so much more time partying, getting high and generally having a good time, and still have be fine. Instead, I just wasted my youth being a goody two-shoes, and now I have to deal with grown-ups repeating high school drama in their corporate politics and ladder climbing. Fuck this shit, I hate everyone, get off my lawn. Remember kids, good grades will give you a job. Partying, socializing and being completely fucking wasted with the right people will get you an overpaid executive career. Around my parts of the world it is echoed over and over that it's not what you know, it's who you know. But for the longest time, I thought I could work my way up by showing how good an employee I am, and always volunteering to do the hard stuff so they will see what an asset I am. It's barely gotten me anywhere. However, Mikey McDickhead, who barely gets anything done, but chums it up with the boss both in and outside of work, will get the promotion and crazy raise. I listened too much to people when I was growing up who said work hard, and you'll get ahead in life, and while it's true to an extent, it really is about the people you know and the contacts you make. We all are. Merit only matters if you don't have connections, because of the possibility of using your high level of skill to get someone interested in you so that you have a connection. Like if you're a new musician and you're pretty good, maybe some owner of a shitty club or bar would be willing to give you a shot. And if you impress them and get to know them, then voila, you've made a connection that can probably get you more connections and so forth. Make your own company. Hard work does make it there. Nice idea, but no way would I hire myself. That's the way I am leaning. I don't think I'll really get anywhere working for other people, so I'll have to go on my own. Did I write this? This sounds like I wrote this. Right down to the sarcastic, get off my lawn. Fucking tell me about it. I should have taken my CEO's hint at asking if I was into cricket or not. Instead, I decided to leave and dick around with physics. My parents didn't have kids till their early 40s, so they had shit figured out slightly better. Yeah, seems like we figured it out at the same time. Once you work long enough in customer service, you realize most people are dumb. And if you work in corporate, you realize that lying and talking shit really does work to advance your career. When I was 12 and asked my mother why the sun comes up, I feel you on that one. I asked my mom for help with my math homework when I was 9, and she couldn't help me because she didn't know how to do long division. After that, I really pissed me off every time she got mad at me for not understanding something. Edit. I wasn't expecting this to take off like it did. I am 33 years old, and I can admit that I have only used long division once since grade school. That being said, my frustration had more to do with my mom's inability to hold back her anger whenever I didn't immediately grasp simple concepts as a child. I don't know how to do long division. I was supposed to learn it in 4th grade, but I was sick the day we learned it, and I just kind of pretended I knew how to do it until the test, which I failed, but grades don't matter in 4th grade, and we just never talked about it again. I am in 11th grade right now, and I don't need it anymore. I have never needed to use long division after like 6th grade. I could probably learn it in like 20 minutes, but I just can't be bothered to. Long division only really helps for factorizing polynomials that have more than 3 terms, and like. When would you ever want to do that, lol? Edit. For the record, I completely forgot how it is used for this, but I just remember we learned that it did. The way maths is currently being taught, and the methods that are supposed to be used are very different from when I was at school, so whilst I can get the right answers, I have been told that they would have marks docked for using a non-approved method. Despite this, the curriculum on maths has changed at least once since they've been in the system, which is confusing for everyone, including the staff. To be fair, it's kind of hard to answer that question to a kid, ESP, since you don't know if he's just being annoying. You might get stuck in an endless chain of whys, even if 12 is a bit old for that. Plus, the Earth spins and rotates around the sun isn't technically the right answer. The sun comes up because of your relative position and perspective as an observer, and the colloquial language used surrounding the relative motion of the sun, which school might mark as a wrong answer. There's really too much to unpack for a causal question by a child. My dad pulled out a globe and a lamp. That'd a good way to do it. Have a little practical demonstration where you get to interact and learn. Kudos to your dad. Earth rotation on itself is the reason for 24H cycle. Rotation of Earth around the sun is the reason for seasons. To be more precise, the Earth rotates about its axis but revolves around the sun. Wait, what did she say? It still shocks me that most people are just faking it till they make it. Most people never make it. I genuinely think that all politicians are essentially winging it because the world is too complicated for anyone's simplistic morality to sort out. They aren't. It's a game, and they're playing it to their best ability. It's just that most people don't care about intricacies, they want quick and easy solutions, and they want them yesterday. And as long as they aren't the ones bearing the consequences, they they will accept just about anything that makes their own personal lives more comfortable. No morality involved. That's not to say that they are all spineless amoebas, it's just that politics and morality are two very separate and sometimes conflicting endeavors. Now of course there are better and worse politicians out there, but I believe that each one of them does their utmost to get elected. Asked my teacher what's going to happen when it's winter, and we're expected to keep all the doors and windows open. Because of COVID. Her response: I don't even know we're going to do tomorrow. Wait, why do you guys have to keep your doors and windows open? Better ventilation cuts down on COVID transmission. That's smart, but fucking tragic that the circumstances necessitate it. Ah, okay, thanks. Ventilation. But also it boggles my mind that this isn't common knowledge. My family regularly opened windows and doors to get a draft in the name of health. For COVID they recommend getting fresh outside air and using a humidifier if you're in a dry climate. You and your family must not live in a humid subtropical or tropical climate. Very rarely are any windows open in such climates, as that would let out the air-conditioned air, and houses are not designed to let in any drafts, rather the opposite. Wait a minute. What? I am sorry. Yeah, most people 8 years or less just can't believe it, they think us teenagers are so smart. Funny story I have. So this one 8-year-old told me to go easy on him. So naturally, I tried my hardest to win, and lost to him in foosball when I was 14. He told me not to go easy mode right after and to go medium mode. I told him okay, and I still tried my hardest. He still beat me. He was literally so clueless that I was trying so hard. He told me to go medium hard mode, and I got really lucky, so I beat him like 10-6. He told me that medium hard mode was too difficult, and to go medium mode again. He beat me once after that too. I really love this story, thank you for sharing. I am 24, and I still feel like a dumb 19-year-old out of high school. I am 30. If I woke up from a coma and was told I am 20, I would believe it. Life is complicated, I have no idea what's going on. Smiling face with open mouth and cold sweat. Told I am 20, I would believe it. 40-something and the same until the aches and pains kicked in, and then I looked in the mirror. Still haven't worked out life, and just faking my way through it. I woke up from an asterisk once, it was way worse than the time I woke up from a parenthesis. Or S. Same here, brother. When that tsunami hit Japan that messed up Fukushima, I heard a radio ad asking for donations for relief while I was in the car with my parents. My mother said that's unfortunate, but I don't see why we should help. I was appalled and told her those are our fellow human beings and pointed out that she's Christian, and that helping the less fortunate is a cornerstone of that doctrine. They didn't help us with Hurricane Katrina. Got home, looked it up. Japan had the highest dollar amount of foreign aid directed at relief for Hurricane Katrina. But you know, they also dropped the "they bombed Pearl Harbor" line. I asked them why that matters even to them being born 10 years after the fact. My parents are dumb. Guess who they're voting for? Should have told them we nuked 2 of their cities and firebombed even more. Came here to say this. This hypocrisy abounds in civilizations around the world, and across history, amplifying mean things done to your people, and minimizing mean things your people have done. I am glad your eyes and mind are open. Ah, so much my mom. I have lost track of the stupid shit she has said over the years. My dad isn't much better. And my gramps, he's no longer with us, once said something so terribly racist, and just so heartbreakingly evil that I never repeat it. I think I was 17 when my gramps said what he said. I wasn't older than 18. I just remember sitting there with my mouth open in shock. Like this man who I thought was smart, and who I look up to, just said that. I ended up yelling at him, storming from the room, and sitting in my room in tears. We never talked about it again, but he never brought that kind of thing up around me again. The most recent stupid thing my mom said had to do with health insurance. She's against universal care. She doesn't like the idea that her tax dollars are paying for other people's health care. She said to me, "I'll be goddamned if my money is going to cover other people's care." This was said by a woman who was a military brat and spouse, and is currently on Medicare. So let that sink in. Guess who she's voting for, and the rest of my extended family. That bit about not wanting my money to go to other people's care is the kind of American mindset that I really can't understand at all, and I don't mean all Americans think like that, just that it's a way of thinking I have only seen in some Americans, and nowhere else. Maybe because I am European, and the concept of public healthcare is so much part of our culture, but I am actually happy to know that my tax money goes to other people's care. Healthcare and education for everybody is exactly what I want my tax money to go to. Back when the news was exploding with stories about the statues being torn down of famous white explorers, my mom believed that Christopher Columbus discovered America, and was nothing more than an innocent explorer who in her words discovered the world was round. I explained to her that not only was it not true that Columbus discovered America, as the natives were already here, and the Vikings had landed several hundred years before, but also that Columbus did not prove the world was round because Eratosthenes had done the math in 500 BC using the angle of the sun, and by observing the shape of the moon. She called me a know-it-all. Guess who she's voting for? And my dad as well. Apparently early Greek philosophers had already alluted that the earth was round. Web address. Yeah, it's been known the earth is round, if not necessarily worldwide, for about 3000 ish years irk. I don't have a source, so don't quote me. IDK where the myth that Columbus proved the earth was round came from, but it was even taught to me that way in first grade. Wow. You are still with us. Thanks for being such a nice person. As long as you are here, why not like this video and subscribe to our channel? Also, you can press the bell icon, so you won't miss any future uploads.